Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, we are going to remake a classic strawberry shortcake. Last time we did strawberry shortcake, I believe was 2011, like a classic strawberry shortcake. And I want to make this for you because it's easy and it's simple. It's perfect for Mother's Day, which I know is like tomorrow, but you know what? The great thing about this recipe, it doesn't require fancy ingredients. So if you're making a last minute stop to the grocery store, you can pick up a couple of these ingredients and then make just fabulous strawberry shortcakes on the most deliciously flaky biscuits ever, which is why I love this recipe so much. I think the biscuit base is just so glorious and I'm thrilled to share it with you. The recipe for the biscuit base is really simple, but I'm telling you, they're all the right ones. You need some self-rising flour, and then I'm going to boost up the leavening agents a little bit more with baking powder, baking soda, some salt, and a little bit of sugar. You'll need some cold unsalted butter, and you'll need some buttermilk. And then we're gonna macerate our berries. We're gonna make a fresh whipped cream. It's just so good. What a classic. I wish my mother was here. My mother lives in Italy, so I can make this for her. But maybe when I go there next time, I can do that. I'm gonna make mine in my standing mixer with a paddle attachment to make my life easier. I've invested in it, it might as well work. But you can do this by hand, obviously. So I'm gonna add all of the dry ingredients in here, like I said, with the paddle attachment. And I'm going to add in the butter. It's really important that the butter is cold because this is what's going to attribute to those flaky layers. And then I'm just going to mix this until the butter is distributed throughout the dry ingredients in little teeny tiny pieces, almost resembling the size of peas, because that's the magic, you know what I'm saying? All right, I can see that the butter is where I want it, so now is the time to add in the buttermilk. Now, if you don't want to make a last minute stop to the grocery store and you already have strawberries on hand, you already got whipped cream on hand, then you're saying to yourself, mamma mia, I really don't want to stop at my local shop right now to buy 2 extra ingredients that I don't have on hand, like buttermilk and some self-rising flour. Well, make your own buttermilk. All you need is about a teaspoon or 2 of lemon juice or white vinegar to your whole milk. Let that sit for about 10 minutes and it will curdle, and that will give you buttermilk. You don't want to mix up, you don't want to go buy some self-rising flour, because I hear you, $5 a bag for self-rising flour is pretty ridiculous if you're only going to use it on this one occasion. Although, make yourself a bunch of biscuits and put them in your freezer for whenever the craving calls. You take your self-rising flour, you add 2 cups of self-rising flour to this recipe, and just instead of adding 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder like my recipe calls for, just up it to 2 teaspoons of baking powder and then 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and you're golden. All right, enough said. Lower this down. I don't want to over mix it because the more you mix, the more the butter will start to melt. So now at this point, you've got nibbly bits of dough, and you're going to pull it together by hand and just form it into a disc. This has to go into the fridge just to sort of set for a while. I'm going to show you how to pull it together really quick. You don't want to overwork it because you see the little bits of butter? You want those bits of butter to remain cold. So you just pull it together like so, form it into a disc, and pop it in the fridge for about an hour. See how it just kind of holds together really nicely? Don't overmix it, do it fast. Into the fridge for an hour, and then we're gonna roll out some beautiful giant biscuits. All right, my dough was in the fridge for about an hour. Just let it come to room temperature for a few minutes before you handle it. It's a really soft, beautiful dough. Can you see the pieces of butter? That's what's going to give you those phenomenal flaky layers. Make sure that you go ahead and just lightly flour that and kind of just like shake off the excess. What you're going to do, we want to create layers of flakiness, right? If I'm going to eat a biscuit, it's going to have to be the best biscuit ever. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't waste any calories. If I eat something, it has got to be good. See all those little bits of butter in there? That tells me this is going to be so delicious and so amazing. What I'm doing is I am rolling this out to about a little less than a ½ inch thick, because we're going to do this 2 more times. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that, because we, again, want to create layers. lightly flour your surface, very, very lightly, and then you're going to fold this into thirds. And I'm going to shake off if there's a lot of flour underneath, shake that off. Okay, very much like you were making a croissant, right? So this is the second time we roll it, and then we're going to repeat the process one more time. Once I roll this out to a 1/4 inch thick or so, fold one more time. And now this time you are gonna roll this out to like 3/4 of an inch thick. I want these to be really lovely and beautiful and flaky and not too thin, but I also don't want them to be too thick because remember, we're not eating these biscuits as is. These are going to be sandwiched with the strawberries and the whipped cream, and so just want to make sure that we get the perfect size. And I'm going to take like a 4-inch cutter and I'll just re-roll the dough to get some more biscuits. But you can make this smaller, by the way. You don't have to make them this big. You can make 3-inch, you can make a 2-inch if you want to do butt size. It ain't gonna be a 2-inch if it's gonna be my butt size. You can make them smaller if you want like bite-sized little biscuits, but I'm gonna just roll this out. Look what I'm doing. I'm not even really working it that much. I'm kind of pushing it together with my hand, the dough, because you're not gonna notice it, right? And then you just kind of pull that together, and then I'm gonna take whatever's left over, make really small little pieces, and I'm gonna give that to Mia for a little snack. Okay, now because we just worked these so much, I'm gonna lightly cover these with the same sheet of plastic wrap, pop them in the fridge for 10 minutes or so. In the meantime, preheat your oven to 400, get an egg wash ready, which is just a beaten egg with a little bit of milk or cream or water. And then when we come back, we're gonna brush them on top, bake them, I'll show you the whole thing. Biscuits are out of the fridge. This is just the scraps of the dough that I pulled together. It's fine, really. An egg wash, just an egg beaten with a little bit of cream, milk, or water, just a small touch. I'm gonna brush the tops with this. This gives you a really beautiful golden brown color. Gotta love that. And I'm telling you, this is like the only way you should ever eat strawberry shortcake. Piled high on really flaky biscuits. So delicious with lots of fresh whipped cream. I mean, there's just nothing better. Nothing better. And these biscuits too, they're so easy. They're so easy, minimal ingredients. You gotta just love it. And because I like a little extra something sweet, a little granulated sugar right on top. This gives you like a lovely crunchy lid to your biscuits. And now, before I pop this into the oven so I don't have to let you go and come back, I've got some diced strawberries. I like to dice my strawberries because I think when I cook, I think in the same way that I eat. It just makes it much easier, and everything kind of goes on the spoon a lot better if the strawberries are diced. If they're sliced, then they'll fall off your biscuit and it'll be hard for you to cut into them. So I just do a little bit of sugar, a little bit of lemon juice, just to kind of bring out their juices. And you just toss them together and you set them aside while you do everything else. Now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set these aside, pop these into my oven at 400 for about 15 minutes or until golden brown. Let those cool, and then in the meantime, I'm just gonna whip some whipped cream, some fresh heavy cream with a little bit of vanilla. I'm not gonna bore you with that. It's literally a handheld whisk with my heavy cream, with my vanilla, and a touch of powdered sugar, and then we come back and we build the most delicious strawberry shortcakes. I mean, I would like to have a bakery so that I can make biscuits that are like that, okay? Because if you give me anything but that, then I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I've already picked up the top of this one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. Look at this. Dun, 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 dun. That's the biscuit I want. Now, you take your strawberries with plenty of juice that they made, and that juice kind of just, you know what I'm saying? A really good dollop of that homemade whipped cream. You put your lid on, and if you're feeling fancy, which just should always feel fancy, especially when you're serving. Dun dun dun. Would you like a bite of that mountain of love and delicious? You know you want to. But now, when you go away, this is what I do. Flip it. I'm not a pretty eater, because I think when you smoosh it and you smoosh it all together, that's where the magic happens. But I actually want the lid, because do you remember that the lid has that sugary crust? Wow. I feel like, what's his name? Owen Wilson? Oh, whatever his name is. Wow. That is a strawberry shortcake of absolute dream. Perfection. I literally have no words, which I know is a shocker, but I don't. Go to laurasinthekitchen.com, get the recipe, make it, judge for yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye.